It is unfortunate that glossy media advertising influences so much of what we eat today. Large food producers add further pressure by using the media effectively to persuade us to buy products we may not need. New gimmick foods are a prime example. They are often strongly flavored, brightly packaged, and promoted with attractive designs, brand names, logos, or popular characters that appeal to children. Children may find these products so irresistible that they pester their parents until they get them, unaware of the hidden risks they may carry. Many contain excessive amounts of sugar, salt, colorings, and flavorings. Supermarkets also play their part, often using their own advertising and strategic product placement to promote fast-selling items and attract the attention of potential buyers. Choice, advertising, and hidden food treatments. Many commentators argue that, despite aggressive media advertising, we still choose what we buy and eat. This is true to a degree, but the choice is not always straightforward. Even people who prefer fresh fruit and vegetables may not realize that their food could have been sprayed with chemicals to protect it from pests, or treated with coloring agents to improve its appearance. Have you ever wondered why apples shine so brightly under supermarket lights, as though they have been polished? Some have been coated with a wax solution, which is why fruit and vegetables should always be washed before eating. Food processing and Frederick Occam's findings. Food processing, packaging, and hygiene improved greatly during the 20th century, especially compared with practices in the previous century. In 1820, Frederick Occam, a German chemist from Hanover, published a scientific analysis of food quality in Britain. His findings were deeply disturbing and made him many enemies. Within a year of publication, pressure from those affected by his work forced him to leave Britain and return to Germany. Examples of food adulteration. Occam claimed that in the early 19th century, some bakers improved poor quality flour by bleaching it with alum, a double sulfate of aluminium and potassium, and then bulking it out with ground peas and beans before using it to make white bread. Other methods used to increase volume included adding chalk, pipe clay, powdered flints, and potato flour. By 1848, much commercial bread contained alum and, in many cases, boiled potatoes. Sour beer was sometimes revived with ground oyster shells. Milk was thickened with arrowroot and sold as cream. Gloucester cheese rinds were colored with red lead. Ground coffee was diluted with chicory and toasted corn before being sold to unsuspecting customers. The adulteration of tea suffered particularly badly. The Great British drink was, in some cases, not made from leaves imported from countries such as India, China, Japan, or Sri Lanka, but from British hedgerow leaves. Blackthorn, ash, and elder leaves were boiled, dried, colored on copper plates, and sold as tea. At the time, it was estimated that half the tea sold in Britain was fake. Occam also uncovered a trade in used tea leaves. After use, tea leaves from wealthy households were sometimes given to servants as a benefit. Rather than keeping them, some servants sold them to unscrupulous merchants who mixed the leaves with gum, dried them, coated them with black lead for color, and resold them as fresh tea. Are modern practices really different? Modern science and technology have undoubtedly improved many aspects of food production. Yet, it would be unwise to assume that the abuses of the past have disappeared completely. Some practices may simply have changed form, becoming less obvious and hidden behind the language of modern science. Food manufacturers today might dismiss Écum's findings as exaggerated, just as earlier industries resisted criticism in order to protect their own interests. Although abuses in food manufacturing may not be as severe as they were in Écum's time, concerns remain. The chemicals used have changed, and their effects may be slower, harder to detect, and more difficult to identify as a direct cause of long-term health problems. If modern food practices were entirely harmless, we might expect to live in a much healthier society. Some health experts and scientists argue that rising ill health is linked to both past and present eating habits. They suggest that reversing this trend requires a return to a more natural diet and a sharp reduction in the chemicals added to food. This argument becomes more persuasive when viewed against the longer history of food and health. Looking back, earlier diets, the early Romans were a healthy, rural people whose diet centered on simple, natural foods. They ate thick vegetable porridges made from barley, beans, and green vegetables, often with hard-baked barley bread cooked in the ashes of their fires. Their staple foods were grain, bread, and porridge. They also made cheese from goat's milk, pressed it native olives for aromatic olive oil, and flavored their meals with garlic and parsley. Although we do not have medical records from that period in the form we know today, modern research has challenged earlier assumptions about the health of ancient populations. Evidence suggests that many of our ancestors did not suffer from some illnesses that are common today, and that their physical health, height, and weight may previously have been underestimated. It is only when we move forward to the 19th century that some of the more modern diseases we recognize today begin to appear more frequently. Food, health, and ancient wisdom. Could the rise of modern diseases be linked to poor food hygiene and irresponsible food manufacturing, much like the abuses exposed by Frederick Écume? The question becomes clearer when viewed alongside older traditions that placed diet at the center of health. Hippocrates, in the role of diet Hippocrates, the Greek physician born on the island of Kos in 460 BC, is widely known as the father of medicine. He was said to have lived a healthy life until the age of 90. Unlike many modern practitioners, he relied on few drugs. Instead, he paid close attention to what people ate and encouraged them to improve their diets as part of a healthier way of life. His belief was summed up in the statement, "Our natures are the physicians of our diseases." Many people followed his example and benefited from a healthier lifestyle. The ancient Chinese people, too, were careful about the foods they ate. One of their most famous proverbs is, "You are what you eat," and it is still strictly acknowledged and understood by many, even to this day. In the days before the Mongols, the Chinese did not care much for humble or unflavored foods. They were adventurous eaters. Beef stews were seasoned with sour plums and pickled in meat sauce and vinegar. They feasted on venison, salted fish, bamboo shoots, and rice. One particular recipe, dating back to the 6th century AD, includes pork and goat meat boiled in water with steamed taro, onions, and rice. This delicious meal was flavored with salt, vinegar, ginger, and fermented bean paste. All ingredients were natural. Salt and smoke were used to preserve meat and fish, but this had no known adverse effect on their health. Maybe because there was a lot less pollution in the Earth's atmosphere in those times. So there were no harmful chemicals to contaminate the wood they used in their fires for smoking, or the salt which they gathered for preserving their food. Even today, people of Asian origin continue with their tradition of good health through the use of fresh and natural foods. The early inhabitants of the Indus Valley knew very little about spices and salt until they were driven south by the Aryan invaders from Iran and Afghanistan. Their diet consisted of meat and milk products from their cattle, and their staple grain was barley, which they ground into flour to bake into cakes. In the warmer climate of the south of Pakistan, they grew rice, wheat, and beans, and learned to use ginger, turmeric, long peppers, sesame, and sour oranges. Many of these expensive spices were used later on by the Arab caliphs who ruled Iran, Egypt, and the Eastern Mediterranean around 1600 AD. These were brought from both China and India. They used ginger, cinnamon, pepper and caraway, cumin and coriander, and they ground almonds with other nuts and added them to their gravies for flavor and enrichment. Many more new spices were found and used to create delicious cooking throughout the ages. They mainly all originated from tropical Asia, with the exception of a few which were first discovered in the tropical Americas. We shall look at some of those more closely later on. Breakfast. Breakfast could be considered the most important meal of the day. The body has been at rest for a number of hours, regenerating and replacing used cells. And all this action depletes valuable energy reserves, which need to be replenished. Not only that, recent studies show that people who go without breakfast in the mornings are more likely to perform less well throughout the day than those who eat it on a regular basis. Their energy reserves begin to fade just before midday, and this in turn causes sleepiness, which can lead to high blood pressure and high cholesterol levels in their blood. Those people are also likely to consume more high-fat foods during the course of the day to make up for the hunger shortfall. Bad news for slimmers, I'm afraid. If you avoid breakfast in the hope that you will lose weight, you'll end up eating more, and your body's metabolic rate will slow down to make up for the morning fast. So you'll actually burn less energy than you would if you had eaten breakfast. A sad fact, but it's true. Breakfast does not necessarily mean a meal of great proportions, but high-quality nutrients are essential for your body's needs, especially first thing in the morning before you begin a hard day's work. An ideal breakfast would be one that includes foods from the main dietary groups, like protein, carbohydrate, and fiber, for instance. High-quality nutrients can only be found in high-quality foods, and these are more likely to be the natural ones rather than those made from artificial ingredients. Caribbean foods are unique as they consist of a variety of foods from many locations, and they contain a distinctive blend of special nutrients which are essential for energy, organ function, food utilization, and cell growth. Most varieties, like yams, bananas, and plantains, are high in starch, the polysaccharide usually found in cereals and potatoes, which is an important constituent of the human diet. Breakfast. Breakfast could be considered the most important meal of the day. The body has been at rest for a number of hours, regenerating and replacing used cells, And all this action depletes valuable energy reserves, which need to be replenished. Not only that, recent studies show that people who go without breakfast in the mornings are more likely to perform less well throughout the day than those who eat it on a regular basis. Their energy reserves begin to fade just before midday, and this in turn causes sleepiness, which can lead to high blood pressure and high cholesterol levels in their blood. Those people are also likely to consume more high-fat foods during the course of the day to make up for the hunger shortfall. Bad news for slimmers, I'm afraid. If you avoid breakfast in the hope that you will lose weight, you'll end up eating more, and your body's metabolic rate will slow down to make up for the morning fast. So you'll actually burn less energy than you would if you had eaten breakfast. A sad fact, but it's true. Breakfast does not necessarily mean a meal of great proportions, but high-quality nutrients are essential for your body's needs, especially first thing in the morning before you begin a hard day's work. An ideal breakfast would be one that includes foods from the main dietary groups, like protein, carbohydrate, and fiber, for instance. High-quality nutrients can only be found in high-quality foods, and these are more likely to be the natural ones rather than those made from artificial ingredients. Caribbean foods are unique as they consist of a variety of foods from many locations, and they contain a distinctive blend of special nutrients, which are essential for energy, organ function, food utilization, and cell growth. Most varieties, like yams, bananas, and plantains, are high in starch, the polysaccharide usually found in cereals and potatoes, which is an important constituent of the human diet. Mangoes, for example, have an exceptionally high vitamin A and C content. Vitamin A prevents night blindness, a condition characterized by an inability to see in the dark, and protects the skin and the mucous membranes of the body, whereas vitamin C has many functions, such as helping to fight off infection, aiding the growth and repair of all body cells and tissues, and assisting the absorption of iron from food. It can even help those of you who suffer from hangovers, and will benefit heavy smokers who tend to lose a great deal of the vitamin through inhaling tobacco smoke. This first breakfast is ideally suited for both smokers and heavy drinkers, as it contains lots of vitamin A and C and is quite simple. Mango Delight. 1 ripe mango, 1 glass of fresh orange juice. This is a very simple breakfast, particularly for those of you who don't normally take breakfast in the mornings, apart from a cup of coffee and a fag. Wash the mango under cold water before peeling. Then peel carefully. Then slice off chunks into a dish and enjoy with the fruit juice. Banana and avocado. 1 avocado, 1 ripe banana. This is another simple recipe which provides a wealth of goodness for good healthy living. Wash the avocado, then carefully cut it in half with a sharp knife. Remember, you will have to cut round the large stone inside and not through it. Remove the stone and discard. Scoop out the creamy contents and place in a dish. Now, peel and slice the banana into the same dish. Mix up the contents gently. You might prefer to eat this on its own, or with some natural yogurt poured over the top. Fried plantain. 1 ripe plantain. 1 TBSP olive oil, cinnamon, carefully. Peel the ripe plantain once the ends have been cut off. Cut it in half, then slice each half across so that you end up with 4 pieces. Gently heat the oil in a non-stick pan, then place the plantain sections in and fry them until they are brown. remove from the heat, and drain them on some kitchen paper. Serve with a sprinkle of cinnamon, tropical banana, and nut cream. 2 ripe bananas. 4 TBSP dry roasted peanuts, unsalted. 200 g low-fat, natural yogurt vanilla essence. This delicious cream can be enjoyed for breakfast by sprinkling it over fresh fruit or adding it to a nutty cereal. The high potassium content from the bananas ensures a healthy start to your day. To prepare, peel and slice the bananas and place them in a blender. Add the nuts and yogurt, then include a few drops of vanilla essence for added flavor before blending until smooth. If the mixture is too thick, gradually add more yogurt or a splash of milk to reach your desired consistency. For more recipes like this, check out A Caribbean Diet and A Caribbean Diet Cookbook, both written by Winslow Nicholas, available in various formats on all platforms.